didn't click live, honest guys. I don't know what the shit happened. I can say that because apparently we're not, 15 seconds in.
So we're good?
We're live in so many wrong ways.
All right. So welcome everyone to Pop the Question, our bi-weekly Q&A show here on the Popcast Network. I am your host. My name is Owen. Joining me as always, we have, I'm going to change up a little bit, with a brand new setup, Chris.
Hello.
And chugging a ginormous bottle of water, we have Ashley.
I need fluids. Hell,
There.
Technically, most of the water around here is still cloudy and whatever after we had a burst water main, which cut off sort of water to some extent for our areas, and people are still complaining about the quality of the water.
Interesting. And I'm not exactly sure. I'm trying to see the shirt that AJ's wearing. Is that Roger Bumpass on your shirt?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. Heck yeah.
I'm still out of sync a little bit too.
And I've got my awesome FTR like Dark Side of the Moon ripoff shirt that I enjoy. Kind of funny that I have a Living Legend shirt for FTR when they've dropped every single one of their titles in the span of a couple weeks. So there you go. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Like Ashley alluded to on Twitter, we got a marathon this week. Literally and figuratively. And speaking of that, this was Walt Disney World's marathon weekend. And I definitely want to throw my congratulations to everyone who competed in any one of the races this year. And it's still left on my bucket list. It will happen one of these days. I will complete that last half marathon. But good on everybody that was able to do so. I mean, I've had so much FOMO this weekend. It's not even been funny, especially with being sick and everything, not being able to run. I did kind of run a little bit during work today, like before I went into work, just to see if I could. The return of me being able to go back to running is not far away. I just got to get rid of the death cough first. So, lots to talk about tonight. We've got QA tonight. We've got, speaking of Chris, we have Scott Pilgrim versus the World for Popcast Movie Club tomorrow. We have the wrap-up of the Golden Globes, which could be rather interesting and could be a really bad night for me. And then on Thursday night, we have our predictions for the Critics' Choice Awards, and we're going to be talking about other things as well. So yeah, there's lots of things we have to discuss. There's other guilds that are going to give their set of nominees as well, so we'll be talking about that on Thursday night. But this is Pop the Question, and Pop the Question means that we reach out to you, the chat room, to give us questions, and I'm going to put a hard cut at 7 o'clock because of the fact that we have such a lively chat room, and there's so much already in there already, that we're going to stop at 7, and like if there's some stragglers here and there, I will let it slide, but we got to stop at a hard 7, trying to make this show a 2-hour, concise, very snackable show to enjoy, whether live or in archive.
Depending how quick we get through the questions and whatever, I have the full details of the BAFTA long list that we can touch on, because I don't think it's worth doing a separate video for the long list. It's probably worth just doing it for when we actually get the nominations. But there's some interesting things missing and interesting things that are there that could shake up.
Well, since that is
in a few weeks,
since that's your right there, obviously, given where you live, I feel that makes perfect sense that you can. We'll go into that after we get done with our chat.
That's fair.
And as always, we kick off with comments from Brian and Josie. So.
Bro says, last 2010s films I've seen since the last podcast are Undefeated, Mr. Turner, or as Bry says, insert Turner's grunting sound, Wild Tales and 20 Feet from Stardom.
20 Feet from Stardom is so good. I'm so proud to say I actually say I saw that theatrically in a time that I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah. Josephine says, "Hey team, finished reading A Week in Winter by Maeve Binchy. Very good read. Basically a collection of short stories, each about the guests of the Stony Bridge Hotel." See, the way you just write that, it sounds like that could be adapted into a White Lotus thing. Maybe. If it's like different stories about, each mini-sode. Currently reading TikTok of Oz, the 8th book in the Wizard of Oz series. It's one of the stories that doesn't feature Dorothy. Josephine also managed to catch Corsage today. Vicky Creeps was phenomenal as Empress Elizabeth. I've heard a lot. I think they're doing this encore. Either something went wrong at Christmas, or they're doing an encore screening of it over here next week.
Yeah, it just popped up in AMC this past weekend, and I kind of skipped out on it because I didn't have room for it in my schedule with A Man Called Otto and Megan.
M3 gas. Which, from what I've heard, is actually not too bad. Which is something that's James Wan and Blumhouse at the minute. Sometimes that can
It's
be
fun.
like really bad or really actually good.
It's a fun horror movie, and for those of the that think that it's just going to be like a Chucky ripoff, no, she's a robot, so there's complete difference.
So it's the 2019 Chucky then.
Didn't see it, so I can't say anything about that. But yes, based upon what I've heard.
Josie's first time watches since last time. Nanook of the North, Prehysteria, Millennium Actress, Buck and the Preacher, and A Little Romance from '79, directed by George Hill. Coming of age romance film with Diane Lane, Thelonious Bernard, who pretty much was his only sort of main credit for films, and Larry Olivier. I can say that because I did knew him. Very cute. Would pair well with Licorice Pizza or Moonrise Kingdom.
Interesting.
Buck and the Preacher was directed by Poitier, starring Poitier himself along with Harry Belafonte and Ruby Dee. Was quite good. On the advice of his future wife, Joanna Shimkus, Poitier took the directorial duties from Joseph Sargent when he became dissatisfied with the film's point of view. As a result, it became Poitier's debut behind the camera, and will go on to direct 8 more films, including, what was that terrible? I'm trying to remember whether it was a terrible one or a good one with Wilder and Pryor.
Stir Crazy, he says.
Oh, okay, there's that one. I know there was some films in and around then that I like. Why did Poitier do that?
I thought I was thinking you were about to bring up Ghost Dad.
Oh boy.
Oh my word. Hang on. I'm putting the donkey on because I'm just changing region because I'm a little bit. Some people are slow-mo worryingly. Hopefully that should fix that issue. If I manage to. No, not Tom Hanks, damn it. There we go. Make that smaller as well so Owen's a bit more in picture.
That's got to be the only time in history someone's ever said, no Tom Hanks, damn it.
Well,
we'll get to that.
Fableman fans reading the BAFTA long list might say that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Please.
Ruby Dee and Ozzie
We
Davis.
all get along.
Ruby Dee and Ozzie Davis, both no longer with us, are one of the most iconic Hollywood couples. Had such a long marriage lasting from 1948 to Ozzy's death in 2005. Favourite performance from either of them? I love Ruby and Ozzy together and Do the Right Thing. To me, they're actually the best part of that film. Very sweet.
Do the Right Thing's the first one that comes to mind. I don't really know. I don't know of any more Ruby Dee performances that really stand out apart from American Gangster.
That's what I was going to go with.
As far as Ozzy Davis, the other one that immediately comes to mind for him is another Spike Lee movie, which is Get on the Bus, which isn't one of his more popular ones, but is still pretty great, if you can find it.
I'm going to go with Grumpy Old Men.
Was he in Grumpy Old Men?
Yes.
I haven't seen the Grumpy Old Men movies in forever, so I don't even remember. But
I really dug those movies for some reason. It's got great casting.
The only thing I remember from it, because it was just at that point, hi Bruce Campbell Marks, him playing not JFK and Bubba Hotep.
yeah.
Full on stuck to that.
Oh no.
Josephine says, Rip Owen Roisman, cinematographer for The French Connection, Exorcist, Straight Time Network and Taps, no doubt amongst, more as well. He's the guy that was, I want to strap a camera to the front of his car. And thus arguably made history. Nanook of the North was a really interesting silent documentary fiction hybrid about Eskimo family life that's currently on HBO Max. Until it gets removed. Like apparently everything is. Again. Was the first documentary to be preserved in the film registry. I'm guessing that's Congress, right?
That would make sense.
There are claims, however, that it was staged and the wife on screen was not the main subject's real life wife. Oh, fake news already. Fake news in 1922. You gotta love it. While today we think of it's unethical to portray stage scenes as documentary footage, Flaherty at the time saw his project as documenting a dying way of life. Oh, thanks, Josephine, for giving me this name. Alakali Alak, who played Nanook, was really demonstrating how the Unuk people have lived in the recent past. So, while he had made the shift from harpoons to rifle hunting in his lifetime, he was still able to demonstrate the older ways of life, because that's obviously what he trained up on. Some pre-Hysteria trivia. The producer and co-director Charles Band attempted to secure the rights to some Elvis songs for use in the film, but the rights were too expensive. And even attempts to secure the rights to lesser-known Elvis songs fell through as well. See, Elvis is the problem, in all senses of the word.
Nope.
Chris, a couple of questions for you, Chris. Your thoughts on The Golden Child? None?
I've not seen The Golden Child.
Oh. Okay. Then what about Carpool?
Not seen it.
I will say, I haven't seen The Golden Child since I was like renting movies regularly from Hollywood Video when I was like 14 and 15. But with how much Josie has talked about it lately, I'm really curious to revisit it. Just to see, because it never stood out to me. But I do get the Big Trouble in Little China connection we were making before, which scares me, but I do own it. I can see it from where I'm sitting, so I am curious to revisit it at some point to see if there's something there that I just don't remember.
I just remember seeing. I can't remember what. I think I saw the trailer. I saw the trailer quite a bit, somewhat recently, because they were bringing up that there's something that's in the trailer that wasn't actually featured in the film or something. And it's supposedly like lost media, like they thought that all the deleted scenes in Planes, Trains and Automobiles were lost until they got unearthed from the Hughes estate and whatever. Josephine also says, I love how Tom Arnold's character's mom in Carpool was so beastly. She was voiced by Kathleen Freeman. If she was still alive, she would have been 100 next month on February the 17th. Josephine also mentions got a haircut on Thursday. Speaking of haircuts, favourite barbershop or hair salon scene in a film? I think of Married to the Mob and Coming to America.
Married to the Mob came to mind for me too.
Sweeney Todd.
So, the first one that came to mind was Coming to America, and then Sweeney Todd. Because it's weird. The first thing that came to mind was Murder, for some reason. I don't know why my mind went there, because the next one that came to mind was all the Andy Robinson scenes in Child's Play 3. It's like, why did my mind go there first?
I love how no one said Barbershop.
Barbershop's great.
Barbershop 1 is very, very good. Barbershop 2... Yeah, no.
Okay.
I don't remember much about 2, but I thought 3 made a comeback.
Yeah.
I remember actually liking 3.
Yeah,
I
like
it
goes like 1, 3, 2.
I'd also be remiss if we didn't mention the opening scene of Full Metal Jacket.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say my catchphrase, or one of many catchphrases. Paddington 2, motherfuckers! That whole barber scene is just awesome.
Does the makeshift salon in the backyard in Edward Scissorhands count?
Maybe.
I'll allow it. I'm the host.
Okay, so Bry's game thing for this time
Here we
around.
go.
The Globes acting battle, and it's those that didn't match the Oscars from 2000 up to last year. So, for 2000 in the supporting category, we have Kate Hudson for Almost Famous or Benicio del Toro for Traffic.
Oh.
I'm going to be completely honest. The one that really sticks with me and has always stuck with me is Kate Hudson. Which it feels weird in any context to pick Kate Hudson over Benicio del Toro.
Not in this circumstance.
But this might be the one instance where that happens for me.
Chris.
I too will take Kate Hudson on that one.
Ashley.
I'd probably say Hudson as well. I think there were more iconic scenes before and after, really, with Del Toro.
Almost Famous will always be an iconic movie to me. I will always love every second of that movie. She's Penny Lane. I mean, there's no answer otherwise.
If you had said Del Toro, I would have been shocked.
Maybe I'm just butthurt Del Toro's not the Joker like I wanted him to be. Kate.
From comedy or musical, we have Renee Zellweger for Nurse Betty or George Clooney for Oh Brother Where Art Thou? I'd say Clooney.
Clooney.
I'm gonna take Zellweger because I love Nurse Betty a lot, but I also love her brother a lot too. But I would say Zellweger for me.
To me, her brother took multiple viewings for me to like it. I don't know why. It didn't gravitate towards me the first time. But yeah, George Clooney.
I just remembered, brother, when we watched Nurse Betty, do you remember the context?
No.
We were in a moving car. I think we were taking you back to school. And it was at that time where you had your laptop and a separate monitor hooked to each other. And that's how we watched it in the back of the car. Do you recall this?
It's possible.
I can't remember. This might have been. Oh no, that's when we were watching the Michael Keaton White Noise when we got stranded in the snow and had to stay in a hotel on the way to taking you to school.
Yeah.
And the power went out, so we were using your battery power on your laptop just to listen to music. And the thing that brought the power back to life was playing the Seinfeld theme.
Nice.
What's the deal with power cuts? Uh, and then on the drama front, we have Julia Roberts for Erin Brockovich or Tom Hanks for Castaway.
Oh my god. I think Hanks's commitment will put him over. But that's a tough one.
It is not lost on me that the only thing he cares about in this world is a volleyball named Wilson. Tom Hanks. Oh, this is the hardest one of all.
I'd edge to Roberts, to be fair. I feel it's always harder to get a real portrayal of something that actually happened rather than something that's sort of not real or sort of only inspired by things that may have been similar to what happened.
Especially under the added pressure that real life person you're playing is literally on the set watching you.
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh.
This is the hardest one.
I can see why Owen says this is the hardest for him.
Brother, do you have an answer for the Hanks Roberts one?
I said Hanks.
So, for comedy or musical in 01, it's Nicole Kidman for Moulin Rouge or Gene Hackman for Royal Tenenbaums.
Yep. My sentiments exactly, AJ.
Well, what's interesting is it was easy for me because I don't want to sound like I'm discounting Gene Hackman at all. But, like, one of my favorite performances of all time is Kidman in Moulin Rouge. So it's actually quite easy. I just don't want it to sound like I'm saying fuck Hackman, because obviously Hackman's amazing. It's just, yeah.
Chris.
I'm gonna go with Gene Hackman.
I will not fault you for that.
I'd probably just edge it to Kidman. I think this was was this the start of her sort of return to form? Sounds about right, because the others would have been that year as well, and then the Hours, depending whatever you feel about that, it got her an Oscar. So
yeah, so the insane thing to think about is that Moulin Rouge was her first nomination. When it seems so late in her career.
Yeah, she did it so well in Far and Away and Days of Thunder.
And then on the drama side, we have Russell Crowe tribute.
Hi. Host here.
I thought it was given.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to discount Gene Hackman either, because I love the Royal Tenenbaums. Movie's fantastic, but Satine has been a role, just like AJ said, Satine is a role that has been following me literally in a personal way my entire time that I knew the existence of the movie. To this day, where the existence of the Broadway musical, which I cannot wait to finally come here in about a year and a half. So, oh yeah, Nicole Kidman all day, every day.
I guess it's good as well that we actually get to see great actors like Hackman at least just be able to do one Wes Anderson script.
I think it should be a prerequisite in life. You should have to do one Wes Anderson script, one Kevin Smith script, and one Quentin Tarantino script.
So yeah, on the drama front, Sissy Spacek for In the Bedroom or Russell Crowe for A Beautiful Mind? I'd probably give it to Spacek.
I'm trying to figure out if I'm really saying Spacek or if it's just because she's fresh in my mind because I've rewatched In the Bedroom recently. And it's been a while since I saw A Beautiful Mind, but my instinct is to say Spacek.
Chris.
I actually haven't seen either movie all the way through.
Interesting. I could have sworn you'd seen A Beautiful Mind all the way.
No. Because I was just sitting here thinking about it while you guys were answering. I was like, have I seen that or not? And I'm pretty sure I haven't.
F you, Russell Crowe. My response.
Just in general.
Joe, specifically for that reason, and Chris and AJ know exactly why.
So on the supporting now for 2002, Streep for The Hours, I'm guessing, or Chris Cooper for adaptation.
I think Streets is for adaptation as well.
Was it? I lost track.
Yeah, Brian says Streep or Cooper adaptation.
Oh, okay.
It's in the context of the comment.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because I was like, I can't remember Streep being in that because the only thing I think of her for that year is everything that The Hours was because it was just her face and Nicole Kidman's face.
Really funny you say that because I think I was getting ready to pick Streep. But it's really hard when they're in the same movie, actually.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Chris Cooper just because I feel like in a toss-up between Chris Cooper and Meryl Streep, somebody needs to throw some love at Chris Cooper, so I'll do it.
Ashley.
Oh, you remember in the movie they were throwing quite a bit of love at each other as well, but
Yeah. Dude, Chris Cooper is so good. And like I think it just gets lost in the shuffle how good he is at everything.
On a coin toss, I give it to Streep, but yeah. I still like Born Supremacy just for Chris Cooper, not anything else. It's Chris Cooper.
I mean, Identity.
Was it that?
They literally all bleed together, Ashley. It's understandable.
Yeah, Chris Cooper's in the first one.
Oh, he's the one that he gets killed off like mysteriously.
Yeah.
Was it Cox that was Supremacy? An ultimatum?
I think Cox is Identity and Supremacy.
Right.
Supremacy is the one where Cox dies.
Right.
Yeah.
So many Bourne spoilers we're just throwing about.
Yeah. I still regret that we didn't get to see Chris Cooper's Norman Osborn that much.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, when his casting made headlines and then he was literally uncredited.
And dead. Mostly dead.
Owen?
Chris Cooper.
Yeah. Get on the Chris Cooper train with me.
Oh.
What I remember the most of adaptation.
What's great also is you just look at, because honestly, Chris Cooper probably should have won for American Beauty and wasn't even nominated. But when you look at everything he's done, it's like, I look at adaptation and it's like, if Chris Cooper had to win an Oscar, I'm really glad it was that role. Because it's kind of really out there, even when you look at his lineup.
He also has one of my favorite moments in a Muppet movie ever where his laugh is just saying maniacal laugh over and over.
Maniacal laugh. Yeah.
Listen, his whole performance in the Muppets is amazing.
Indeed.
He should have got the Oscar for that.
25 or 64 time for comedy and musical. Zellweger or Gear for Chicago.
Oh man, I have no Wegger, but I can make the same argument for Gear that I just made for Chris Cooper.
I was gonna say I love Gear in Chicago. I think I'm gonna say him.
Ashley.
Yeah, I'd just edge it to Gear as well. Because category fraud.
I think Razzle Dazzle is a very underrated song in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it really knocks it out of the park when he does it. But I'm sorry, I can't discount Renee Zellweger just belting out Roxy Hart. So, I'm gonna go with Zellweger on this one. I like Chicago a lot. I like the fact that it's basically one, so Moulin Rouge could officially win Best Picture, just like The Hours won, so Nicole Kidman could win for Moulin Rouge. So I look at things like that.
I was just sitting here thinking, have we ever really noticed how prestigious the supporting cast for Me, Myself, and Irene is? The three main supporting cast members of Me, Myself, and Irene are Renee Zellweger, Chris Cooper, and Richard Jenkins. That is a phenomenal cast for a movie like that.
And don't discount the brilliance of Jim Carrey.
I figured that went without saying.
Of course.
But as far as like the Oscar nominees and winners of the group,
Sure.
which we know Carrie should have been as well, but
Tell me about it.
yeah.
Man on the Moon, line 1. For starters. And we got one more that I can see.
On the drama front, we've got Jack Nicholson for About Schmidt or Nicole Kidman for The Hours.
I am saying Nicholson. I'm saying Nicholson, pretty much based solely on the last scene of About Schmidt.
I'm saying it with 100% bias in the fact that that was the last time he was nominated.
Nicholson.
Yeah, I'd edge it to Nicholson. I think Kidman might have got that Oscar via other means. Harvey!
It was so... They just really wanted Denzel to make that nose joke when he announced it.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys read the If You Give a Mouse a Cookie or If You Give a Pig a Pancake books, but imagine if they were adapted into a documentary.
Nice like those names.
I don't know what those are, but I'm intrigued by the title.
If you give it DiCaprio a 25-year-old.
Oh, God.
Wow!
Yeah, we're going to strike that one from the record. You got to slap on the wrist, Chris. 3 of them, you're out. Josie, just hearing those titles, I want an Edgar Wright movie based on those.
Birthdays today, we've got Sarah Polly, Gabby Hoffman, Symphony Erivo, and the late Graham Chapman, Roy Kinnear, David Bowie, and Elvis.
Well, some people are having a good award season and some are not.
2003, comedy or musical, we've got Diane Keaton in Something's Gotta Give or Bill Murray in Lost in Translation.
Bill.
Gotta go with my birthday brethren. Bill Murray.
Here's AJ's chance to dump on Lost in Translation again.
Oh, just like, I don't want to do it again.
It's Bill Murray. Say what you want about the rest of the movie. Bill Murray.
You know that I do not care for Something's Gotta Give. I really don't.
I know.
But Keaton stands out, and I think it's a really inspired nomination. And it's okay. Sometime this month, I'm gonna rewatch Lost in Translation. And we're gonna work this out to find out if I like it. But yeah, like my first instinct was Keaton, which is weird because I'm not a Keaton fan or a Something's Gotta Give fan. But why was it my instinct to go against Lost in Translation again? I don't know.
Josephine asks favorite John Ritter performance.
So many great ones.
I mean, does Three's Company count as a whole?
I was gonna say Jack Tripper in general. Yeah. Heck yeah.
I say this with no joke, 100% serious. Problem Child.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It was very surprising when we did our Problem Child video how many like merits we found in it.
Mm.
I was not expecting to come away from that video going, is the first Problem Child legitimately good? We found a lot of like actual things they did very well.
And I don't want to discount something that Josie also mentions. I'm a big mark for Stay Tuned. I really am. Big time. Josie, you brought that up at the right time.
I love his uncomfortableness too as Bob Chapesca.
Oh, of course.
That entire performance uncomfortable, and it's great.
When we saw it in the theater, he got some of the biggest laughs, and that's
Yeah.
saying something in that movie.
I mean, he bounces off Billy Bob really well.
Bernie Mac too.
Especially
Yeah,
Bernie Mac.
it's the Hindenburg. Yeah, the Ritter Bernie Mac scenes are like some of the heights of bad sex.
Yeah.
I'd say he was also the definitive Clifford the Big Red Dog.
That's fair.
Let's just keep heaping the praise. People don't really like that portion of the movie, but I'll throw it in there.
Oh, yeah.
Some Stay Tuned trivia. When sending away for something from Acme as a cartoon mouse, the envelope Roy's mailing has a stamp featuring a likeness of Chuck Jones, who
Makes
also
sense.
supervised the animated sequence in the film. Tim Burton was offered to direct it, but turned it down to make Batman Returns instead.
So he could have made Stay Tuned, but he decided to scar us for life.
Yeah, but could you imagine how messed up Stay Tuned would have been if Burton was directing it?
It would have been pretty wild.
Stay Tuned is wild as it is.
Actually,
It makes me wonder if Stay Tuned would have looked like Batman Returns.
I think it would have looked more like Beetlejuice, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just the Jeffrey Jones in my subconscious. Yeah.
I mean, Tim Burton doing Stay Tuned is an intriguing concept.
Yeah.
Well, let me strike that. Late 80s, early 90s Tim Burton doing Stay Tuned is an interesting concept.
I wonder how close it would have been to the climax of Shocker.
I don't know, but if he made it now,
Yeah.
John Ritter and Helena Bonham Carter's his wife. If he made it today.
Wow.
Producers wanted Dan Aykroyd for the part of Roy, and also the studio had Richard Dreyfuss and Tracy Ullman set to star as Roy and Helen, but the plan got dropped because it would have cost $500,000 for the salaries.
Dreyfus would have been fun.
Especially if you channeled a little bit of Dr. Leo Marvin in some of those scenes.
Ooh. Back to the Globes thing. 2004 supporting wise. Portman or Owen for Closer?
I didn't see Closer.
Such a great movie.
I think it was just last year I rewatched. I had kind of a mini Nichols marathon. And I would have said this the first time I saw it, and after having rewatched it recently, I'd probably still say the same thing and say Portman.
Yep.
But those four are incredible, just in general.
Clive Owen is just unbelievable in that movie.
I think one of my favorite scenes is the way, just his reactions to the scene where he's being catfished by Jude Law.
It's so good. Because it's so topical nowadays.
Yeah.
100%. People do it every day.
Yeah, when Closer came out, that was like Are we under the impression the movie Catfish is what really brought that into the forefront? That was 6 years later.
100%.
I mean, everybody fucked with somebody in a chat room, but
Sure.
like the way it became like a thing.
I think Closer was way ahead of its time too.
Especially with the song that just Damien Rice's "Can't Take My Eyes Off You" said like 17 times. It's like, you run
Love
out of
Damien.
words, Damien. Good job.
I love Damien Rice.
I just about edge it to Owen because nearly everything I see of Just Closer is here's the nightclub pole dancer scene with Natalie Portman, even though she did more in that film.
You mean a champagne glass?
I mean, I'm just people don't talk enough about Clive Owen in that. I think he needs more.
No. And not enough people realize that Clive Owen in the International realized he could be James Bond, but no one ever
Yeah.
listened to Owen.
Yeah.
Well, let us not forget the very best thing about Clive Owen and Closer. That'd be that it brought us the moment where he won his BAFTA and didn't hear his name.
Yep. That's right.
So the camera just lingered on him sitting in his seat until somebody told him.
You've won.
Oh, boy.
Then comedy and musical for 04. Annette Bening for being Julia or Jamie Foxx for Ray. But also adding, is Ray a musical? I think at that time
Ray.
it probably would have been considered. It probably if Bohemian Rhapsody can now be considered drama, Ray would be more drama, I would say.
Yeah.
Ray's definitely a drama.
I think Walk the Line did the same thing the year after. It went in musical for some reason.
Right.
This is really hard because obviously I love Jamie Foxx so much, but I'm actually like anti Jamie Foxx and Ray. But,
Yes, you are.
but I have no memory. Like if the DVD wasn't right there, I would completely forget that Being Julia exists. I have no memory of that movie. I think I watched it. I rented it during that award season because I think she was the biggest competition to Swank that year. It was like, is it going to be Benning or Swank? Yeah. And then after I watched it, then it's gone. It's
Isn't
completely gone. What's that?
Wasn't that the Julia Child movie?
No, that's Julia and Julia, and that was Meryl Streep.
I know Julia and Julia. I thought Being Julia was the Julia Child movie, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Far from it, if I remember correctly.
Joseph says, coincidentally, Eugene Levy had previously starred in a short-lived sketch comedy TV series called Stay Tuned in '76. The movie and the TV show are not related, but in the wrestling sequence, the other announcer sitting next to Lou Albano. I've corrected that to make it not sound like you said albino.
Thank you.
Josie looks suspiciously like Vince McMahon Jr., who was actually a play-by-play announcer for the WWF starting in 1971, and is mysteriously going to be a play-by-play announcer for the WWE in 2023.
Yeah, if everybody doesn't quit on him. Tony Khan, line 1, let's go. So AJ remembers this. I remember when we got all of the merchandise for Ray. We had t-shirts and everything to promote the movie. And I remember that season, we went to Buffalo Wild Wings and watched the Oscars. And I remember wearing my Ray t-shirt. And we were sitting in the clubhouse watching the Oscars on one singular television because we had that power back in those days. And that was just a fun experience.
I'm trying to think of who you were with because I wasn't there. My first Buffalo Wild Wings Oscars was the next year when Crash won.
Who would have been? There would have been no one with me then.
So I remember because my brother was in school and me and him were on the phone during the 2004 ceremony. I do remember that.
Maybe we had just going to B-Dubs at one time when I was wearing my Ray shirt.
This debate.
But
All of this debate is to try to remember where you wore your race shirt.
Well, I remember watching the Oscars at Buffalo Wild Wings because due to the people that worked there, we had like absolute power at Buffalo Wild Wings back then. We could watch whatever we wanted to watch. I could get the drinks when I wanted to, so I was never like empty because I would always go and make sure my soda was filled. It always would take care of us food wise, whether we had to pay or not. Needless to say.
When I was screaming in celebration when The Departed won Best Picture, and Buffalo Wild Wings is literally closing around.
Yes.
Just so I can close it off for the year 2004 drama in the Globes. Swank for $1 Million Baby or DiCaprio for Aviator?
Decap. But I love $1 Million Baby.
I have to go DiCaprio as well, I think.
I'll say the same.
Yeah, I'd give it to DiCaprio as well.
Probably, it makes sense you would say DiCaprio. You still to this day quote DiCaprio maybe.
Oh, buy one, want one, lose one time. It's a Detroit special.
Whoop whoop.
So we got 8 Mile, Blue Collar, Out of Sight, the original RoboCop, The Crow from '94, Virgin Suicides, Beverly Hills Cop, Grosse Pointe Blanc, Four Brothers, Detroit Rock City, and The Man from '05.
The Samuel Jackson movie.
I believe
I think
so.
that's the one.
Okay, that's easily the get the fuck out of here pick.
Yeah.
Thank you. You made it easy for me.
Yeah.
Okay, the 4 that I really, really love are 8 Mile, RoboCop, The Crow, and Beverly Hills Cop. But I feel like I'm pretty easily narrowing it down to The Crow being at the top and then Beverly Hills Cop.
Chris.
I'm gonna buy Beverly Hills Cop and rent 8 Mile.
Ashley.
I'd buy Out of Sight and rent RoboCop.
Oh shit, I completely overlooked Out of Sight. I mean, I'm still keeping my answers, but Out of Sight would have been on that list of ones I want.
Yeah.
There's a movie on this list. It has a movie that I have loved for many years. I still quote it to this day. And it's got a very underrated cast that went on to do a lot of great things. Yeah, the easy buy here is Detroit Rock City. And my rent is Grosse Pointe Blank.
Yeah.
I'm having a crisis. While we're on the topic of Detroit Rock City, I'm having a crisis, by the way. You know how you say somebody's name, or even a word, you just pronounce it one way forever, and then you hear the real pronunciation, and you can't go back?
You just don't care.
Yeah, so I've been saying Paul Dano forever.
Yeah.
As I think most people have. And every now and then I'd hear Dano, and I'd be like, well, that can't be right. And then during the Actors on Actors bit with him and Brian Tyree Henry, he introduced himself as Dano. Definitely Dano. But I can't go back. I'm sorry.
I think above anybody else on this panel. I should have known that. For obvious reasons.
Does it make me a terrible person if the first thing I thought was there is no Dano, only Zool?
Given who I am, I'll allow it.
Wonder if it's getting to the point where we need to cut off comments early.
10 minutes till cutoff, everyone.
Favorite grocery store or supermarket scene in a film?
Can I count when Stone Cold Steve Austin beat the hell out of Booker T?
Yes. God, my God, yes. My God.
Heck yeah.
Two completely different ones came to mind instantly when I heard the question. I feel like this is the only context ever where somebody will ask a question, and the two movies that immediately came to mind at the same time were The Hurt Locker and Coneheads.
Coneheads.
I'll say Coneheads for comedic one, and The Hurt Locker for dramatic one. The scene in My Girl where she's angrily throwing things into the cart, that is up there as well.
Oh, you're talking about where everybody comes back after the fireworks show and they're wearing the sunglasses? I love Coneheads. That's probably a movie club pick in the future. I want to talk about Ronald R.D. Chico.
I mean, but Coneheads video exists on this channel.
It does.
I'm trying to think of the name of the supermarket in it. But it's either the Gateway / Summerfield scene from Dead Right, or the inspiration of that leading to whatever the supermarket is called, because I can't remember Dalton's character's name in Hot Fuzz.
Skinner's.
That was it. Either of them.
Yeah, because I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, how did I ignore Hot Fuzz?
Yeah, the whole climax.
There's a couple good scenes at the store, because that's also the one where he thought that he had formerly accused Skinner of being the killer. He was looking for the scar.
Oh, the wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
That's
wrestler. Yeah.
Favorite rain scene in a film? What comes to mind for me? Jurassic Park, Blade Runner, Breakfast at Tiffany's, the Spider-Man upside down kiss, and the flood scene in Parasite.
I'm gonna go first.
Brother, I feel like me and you probably thought of the same one.
No, I don't know. What did you come up with?
Road to Perdition.
That's a good one. But actually, my mind first went to the T-Rex chase.
Yeah. Sam Mendes has a counter on Rain, because I also immediately thought of the whole ending of American Beauty, coming back to the Chris Cooper conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I steered far away from these things.
Most of The Crow, most of Seven.
Yep, none of these are my answer. There's only one answer for me. And that's always going to be the correct answer for me. It's Holden and Alyssa and Chasing Amy.
Yeah.
You can. I've used that speech verbatim before. I have used pieces of it in The Pouring Rain. But the subject didn't necessarily understand what I was talking about. That's okay.
Now that you've brought up Ben Affleck being romantic in the rain, I need to defend the scene in Daredevil where he sees Jennifer Garner. I think that's a really beautiful scene.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of what people say about that movie.
I don't like dead air, so we're going to move on. Favorite air vent scene in a movie or TV show? First thing that comes to my mind is Toy Story 2. Another Josie question. 5 minutes live chat.
Is it too obvious to say Die Hard?
No.
I went hard.
Airheads.
Yeah.
Michael Richardson Airheads.
Bad Santa came back to mind as well when Tony Cox is up there and they can hear his voice like echoing.
Oh, the first Mission Impossible, the wire scene.
Interesting.
I might have to go with that because that became a pop culture phenomenon all its own.
Another one's got to be 1408.
Oh yeah.
Everything about that movie is fucking terrifying, and that scene is up there as well. I think that movie.
That's on this channel.
I think 1408 has about like every fear in it at some point, doesn't it?
Thankfully, there's no snakes in it.
Yeah. I had to sit here and think, but I was like, you would remember.
I would totally remember because I love 1408. That movie's awesome. Welcome back, Ashley.
I'm guessing I missed the 2.
Favorite rain scene in a movie and favorite air vent scene in a movie.
Rain scene would be Shawshank, just because it follows up all that going through shit.
Good.
I
It gets
thought
clean.
Shawshank was too obvious, so I just dismissed it.
It gets clean. And the air vent has to be Die Hard.
Oh, another shout out for air vents. Llewellyn transferring the money in No Country for Old Men.
Oh yeah.
Right, 2005 Globes. Jump back to that. For comedy or musical, Witherspoon or Phoenix for Walk the Line.
Oh God.
Say fuck me, if you will. I'm gonna say Witherspoon.
I'm gonna make the Chris Cooper Meryl Streep argument again. In a case of Reese Witherspoon versus Joaquin Phoenix in a Best Acting category, Reese Witherspoon needs the love that she can get.
I just about edge it to Phoenix, but there's not a lot in it.
Phoenix is great, but they're both playing real people, so that negates that argument right there. Weirdly enough, even though he's playing Johnny Cash, I feel like Renee has more to do overall.
You mean Reese?
Long day. I'm sleeping.
I do love. If you can find it, I know it's out there. Honestly, my favorite instance of Joaquin Phoenix doing the Johnny Cash voice is not even in the movie. He did an interview on Conan promoting it. He was promoting that or Way on the Night, but it was in that same area. And the topic of conversation came up of when he actually met Johnny Cash, and Johnny Cash told him how much he loved Gladiator. And he told the story like in character, and it's amazing because Cash pointed out a specific scene that he loved, and he did. So it's Joaquin Phoenix doing an impression of Johnny Cash, doing an impression of Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator.
So it's Dana Carvey.
And then on the drama front, Felicity Huffman for Transamerica or Philip Seymour Hoffman for Capote.
I am not
solid. Yeah.
Has to be Capote. Favorite Rene Russo performance, asks Josie.
Tin Cup.
It's a little over the top at times, but given the circumstances, I feel like that's necessary. I would say Ransom.
Ransom as a whole, but I think my favorite scene of her would be her talk with Thor in Endgame.
Also, shout out to her shout out to her Dan Gilroy performances in Velvet Buzzsaw and Nightcrawler.
I'd just edge it to the Thomas Crown remake. Because I think in her and Brosnan, you get the same sort of chemistry that you could just see off the camera with Dunaway and McQueen from back in the day. They got that casting really right. Did I put the line in chat? Favorite Isabella Rossellini performance.
Chat is closed, ladies and gentlemen. Chat is closed.
It's very obvious to say, but I'd have to say Blue Velvet. But I kind of want to give a shout out to her in Marcel.
Yes. Thank you. A movie that I always kind of like gravitated towards when I was growing up was Death Becomes Her. Don't know why. It's just something I always liked. And that's what I'm going to go with. Hey, Spencer. Brian continues the game.
I'm just trying to think. To me, it'd probably be close to either Blue Velvet or Wild at Heart.
Yeah, that's fair.
For 2006, supporting on the Globes, it's Hudson or Murphy for Dreamgirls.
I'm gonna give the edge to Murphy.
Thunder Early.
Yeah, because I don't want to take anything away from Hudson or that performance. It's just that asking Jennifer Hudson to sing doesn't seem like that much of a stretch.
It's like asking Tommy Lee Jones to do a movie where he makes a grumpy face.
Yeah.
Then again, is it a challenge to make Eddie Murphy sing because of Party All the Time?
Hey, that song's underrated.
That's what I mean. That's what I say.
I love Party All the Time.
Yeah, because you could say it's Hudson's whole performance, including the acting that's not the singing that got her the win. But I mean, we all know the singing that got her the win.
And Murphy still got screwed.
I mean, Norbit didn't help. I'd just about edge it to Murphy.
Ability.
And then on the comedy and musical front, Street for Devil Wears Prada or Baron Cohen for Borat.
I mean,
You already have a coin.
Don't forget, this is when Borat was fresh.
yeah, I was gonna say, I want to say Sacha Baron Cohen because he had to go out into the world and convince people he was a different person.
That's kind of where my head's at too.
and succeeded.
I'd just edge it to Streep.
I can't negate the love for The Devil Wears Prada and Streep in The Devil Wears Prada, but this is back when Borat was fresh and new, and no one knew who Sacha Baron Cohen was back then. No one knew who Borat was back then. And Cohen made us realize who both of them were.
Hey, brother, I assumed you would say Cohen because he succeeded in pissing off that guy that you don't that you knew.
Interesting question, Josie.
Yeah, Josie asks, if Middle-earth had professional sports, what would exist? I mean, And she says football, soccer, golf, basketball, baseball, cricket, and hockey. Considering there's already a game called Mutant Foot, no, not well, both Mutant Football League and Blood Bowl, which has sort of orc-like characters in it. I'd say NFL would be sort of a good fit.
I say like a rugby hybrid, maybe. I feel like rugby would be perfect for Middle Earth.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Quidditch out of my head.
I don't know. I just imagine this one of these games where they just take a giant stick and just throw it at a hole, kind of like golf, but not.
Like disc golf, but the discs are just like bones or something.
Like it's a spear or something, or like what they would consider a spear in Middle Earth. I'm on rings, guys, so this is probably not a good question for me anyway.
I just imagine like a cricket league where like the hobbits are the underdogs, the elves always have like everything put together. They're like the great players, and then the dwarves are always drunk.
Also, I just realised if we do it NFL style, we could have like the orc and sort of elf version of Any Given Sunday. All these crazy pep talks. Including Barry Humphries as the Goblin King.
I mean, just like in Any Given Sunday, it's possible for somebody to take a hit and an eyeball just pops out.
Spencer said, just watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Love Sean Penn and Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yes.
Didn't realise it was Cameron Crowe's first movie that he wrote.
It's also based on a book of his, isn't it?
I think so. Favourite pizza scenes in films? What stands out to me, the pizza delivery scene, the first Home Alone, and the opening of Spider-Man 2. Which is infamous now just because of the Pizza Time mini-game from the Spider-Man 2, where the that just plays faster and faster and faster.
Every time I order pizza and it shows up, I bring it inside and I say pizza time. Every time.
I saw it recently as a highlighted clip for whatever reason on Twitter, but the blackmail scene in 30 Minutes or Less.
Shit, yeah. Very dark.
I also like when the Domino's guy delivers the pizza in the first Ninja Turtles.
I was gonna say the opening credits of the second Ninja Turtles, where it's the montage.
I'm gonna go with the product placement scene in Wayne's World.
Josie also mentions Do the Right Thing, E.T., and the stretchy pizza in a Goofy movie.
Oh man, in the Goonies, when Chunk smashes the pizza and the milkshake against the window.
I guess we're not going to mention the fourth Nightmare on Elm Street. With, like, the souls on it.
What pizza in a movie do you think looks the tastiest? Because I kind of want to give it to the pizza in Home Alone 2.
Yeah, if we can put some freaking toppings on it, maybe. I hate cheese pizza. But I do want my pepperoni, sausage, and bacon pizza delivered by Rob Schneider. Absolutely.
Yeah, what's weird is that the pizzas that look the most delicious are usually animated.
Yes.
Dude, every time I watch the first scene of Turtles 2, I'm hungry after. Because everybody's just eating pizza.
Like, I remember watching Super Size Me for the first time, and I was done. I was like, well, I want McDonald's now.
Yeah.
That was not the intent of Morgan Spurlock whatsoever, but, like, dude, I want McDonald's right now. And screw you for ruining my extra large fries, my super size.
By the way, it's funny that we are having this conversation because the last episode.
Take a shot.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, I think his internet bounced.
God damn it.
Thanks, Optimum.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, wait,
He's
back.
moving.
Good. Continue.
Where did we leave off?
We're talking about the last episode of, and then you stopped.
It's funny we're having this conversation because the last episode of Abbott Elementary I watched was the one where Tyler James Williams admits to not liking pizza, and he literally gets he's outcast. Like, he literally has to eat his lunch in his car.
Also, considering you mentioned that, honourable mention to Breaking Bad for throwing the pizza on the roof.
Oh yeah.
Never saw it.
If I remember correctly, that would also be a candidate for most delicious looking. Actually.
Yeah, come to think of it, yeah. What a waste
Prior
of a
to
pizza.
the roof. Prior to the roof.
Yeah.
You want to talk about delicious looking, AJ? I'd probably throw a shout to The Simpsons. Their food always looked great.
Again, proving the animated too.
Yes.
Right.
Game.
Back to the Globes. 07 for supporting, Kate Blanchett for I'm Not There, or Javier Bardem for No Country for Old Men. Friendo, call it.
There's no way I'm going against Bardem.
Yeah.
God, no. I love No Country.
I would consider No Country for Old Men one of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
Is it weird that this is hard for me?
No, Blanchett's great in that, and I'm Not There.
Blanchett's
Yeah,
probably
but-
the strongest
Yeah.
performance out of the 7, I would say.
Oh my god. Because I love, like, it's a just world that Tilda Swinton has an Oscar.
Yes.
But while we're in this conversation about Tar this year, Blanchett should already have her third. Her third should have been Blue Jasmine.
I
Because
agree.
I'm Not There should have happened. completely redo 2011 so that Tilda Swinton gets it for We Need to Talk About Kevin. Then we're back on track.
Yes, I concur.
Guys, I really want to say Blanchett, but the scene that might put it over for me is Bardem's scene with Kelly MacDonald at the end. And obviously the gas station scene goes without saying, but
Sure.
Oh man, I almost want to like abstain from this.
On comedy and musical, Cotillard for La Vie en Rose, or Johnny Depp for Sweeney Todd.
Cotillard's great, but I've got to go with Depp on that one.
I'll go with Depp too.
Putting prejudices aside, I'd probably just edge it to Cotillard.
Interesting. And it makes sense now.
What?
I'm reading Josie's next comment about the
Okay.
Goofy.
Goofy movie trivia. The character of Powerline is inspired by a mixture of Bobby Brown, Prince, and Michael Jackson. Which fits. Yeah, it makes sense. And Donald Duck originally had a larger role in a Goofy film where he played a travel agent.
I don't know why that's so funny.
I know.
I know. I didn't find it funny, but you finding it funny, I found funny.
Instead of Qantas, it would be Quactus or something. And then on the Globes front for drama, Julie Christie for Away From Her, or Day-Lewis for There Will Be Blood.
Oh man, it's Day Lewis all day.
Hey, Lewis.
Oh, it's Julie Christie's great, but it's like there's no reason to have a conversation when the other person's Daniel Day-Lewis and there will be blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I read last week the thing that There Will Be Blood based on now in public domain. Oil with exclamation point. Spencer said, watched a foreign movie called Playground. Excellent foreign movie. I highly recommend it. I'm guessing this is more goofy movie stuff. Director Kevin Leem has denied the rumor that Bobby was originally set to be Powerline and had already recorded some songs for the character, but was fired due to substance abuse issues.
That's back when that was all he had the problem of. Seems like so long ago.
The rumor that some of the songs Bobby did for the movie was revamped and ended up on his Forever album is also untrue. The Lester's Possum Pal show that Goofy drags Max to is a parody of Disney's own Country Bear Jamboree attraction at the theme parks.
Yep. That's right.
Which is that similar to the whole the animal weird thing that would be like Chuck E. Cheese that arguably inspired Five Nights at Freddy's?
Somewhat. Have you seen the Country Bears? The Disney movie?
No, I don't know if even that had a release over here, or if it did, it was very limited.
I would doubt.
Walken's in it.
Favorite movies about? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to finish the statement so we don't like dance around here. Pauly Shore improvise much of his dialogue.
All right. Yes.
I get that.
Spencer asks favorite movies about high school kids hanging out and having fun.
You just
Well, it's probably too easy to say off the link.
Just quote that 70s show theme song on purpose, or is that just an accident?
I'm trying to think of something besides a Linklater movie.
Very broad question.
It depends on what you consider having fun.
True.
Because I could throw Larry Clark movies at you, which would be answering your question.
Yeah, it's like I'm not even thinking of movies. I'm thinking of groups of movies like Linklater and John Hughes and.
And then what if you find the scene in Scream where Billy and Stu are revealing their plan to Sydney? What if you consider that them having fun?
You know what? I'm just gonna go.
That's literally one of Lillard's lines. It was fun.
Yeah, I might as well throw this out. Encino Man.
Yeah.
Speaking of Pauly Shore, love that movie. Lewis.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That's a good one.
It's like, it feels like it's the definitive answer. It feels like the question was defining Ferris Bueller.
That's why I was trying to come up with something different.
I would say any of the musical bits / singing bits from High School Musical.
Heck yeah.
Because it just seems so weird, like Zac Efron just like doing random shit on a golf course. Yes.
You're specifically talking about 2.
Well, no, because there was also like that. There's that infamous bit in, I think 3, where I can't remember which characters. I think probably one was Zac. They were doing the sort of singing thing on stage, and it cuts to the crowd. And there's this girl that sort of is like supposed to be looking, and then just sort of looks at the camera as if to go, "Help me!" Like
none of the characters seem to be having fun, but we as the audience are having fun. I'll shout out Better Off Dead.
Mm-hmm.
which is basically John Hughes without John Hughes, which is Savage Steve Holland. So
AJ, how did we not go with the party in Beethoven 2?
It all
Well, I
comes
mean,
back to the dog.
The answer is Grease.
Yeah. Paulie Shaw improvised much of his. Oh no, you were mentioning that. Favorite dentist scene in a movie. What comes to
Little
mind
Shop
of Finding
Horrors.
Nemo, Little Shop of
Yeah,
Horrors, and
Little Shop of
Inherent
Horrors.
Vice. Also, shout out to Just Friends.
Coneheads.
Yeah, Coneheads is a great one.
But no, I have to go with Little Shop of Horrors.
This is dark. But I love the little, very brief moment in the whole 9 yards when Matthew Perry tries to kill him.
Is it safe?
Yes.
I'll always go back to that.
Yeah,
It's so
everything else
scary.
we mentioned was from a comedy.
It's so
yeah, Marathon Man
scary,
should
but it's
probably come
also
up-
so good. Yeah.
Oh, I guess shout out to Final Destination too while we're at it.
Oh man, what about Horrible Bosses?
Yeah.
Oh god. I love how most of the comedies we've mentioned have a dark context. Little Shop of Horrors, The Whole 9 Yards, Horrible Bosses.
Isn't there a great dentist scene in Curb as well?
Oh, probably.
I was thinking the Kaylee Kuko one, but that was an eye doctor.
Yeah, there's Tim Watley.
Shout
Yeah,
out
there
to Tim Watley. I still use the Mr. Thirsty line because we're getting airbrush makeup put on during horror nights. And sometimes it catches my lip and I say Mr. Thirsty, and sometimes people get it, sometimes they don't. But I always get a chuckle when I say it.
Spencer asks for the worst teen movies and what separates the bad from the good.
The worst teen movies?
Yeah.
Movies that try too hard.
I mean,
Like,
would
we're solid.
Freeberg and Seltzer count here?
Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
God. The first thing that came to mind, I'm trying to remember if they were even teens yet. Remember Sleepover with Alexa Vega?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what makes a good one for teen movies is if the characters feel real. Because stuff like bad ones like Sleepover are literally just the characters exist solely to be put in situations. And these situations are never organic. It's always a script. Just saying, here's this thing happening, and then here's that thing happening. And it's always like barrel lazy shit.
Was White Chicks high school or was it college?
I'm pretty sure it was college.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely college.
The big thing for me that like makes those sort of films not work is not getting the language right. You know, the old Steve Buscemi "Hey fellow kids" meme sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it doesn't sound genuine, that's why I still my favorite ones of the past few years. Somebody else wrote it, but so it wasn't technically Olivia Wilde, but Booksmart, along with 8th Grade and Mid-90s and Rocks, because they all just feel like genuine situations that kids were having and sort of using the right language, not like trying to make them come up with stuff that they wouldn't say.
Yeah, Rocks felt like a documentary.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Moving
and that's. Oh damn! I lost what I was gonna say.
Sorry, I'm just trying to push the show along. We've got about 40 minutes.
Spencer also mentioned Secret Lives of Dentists is on my watch list. 08
No.
for the Globes. Kate Winslet for The Reader or Heath Ledger for Dark Knight?
Ledger.
Ledger.
I hate the Reader. Ledger.
Sally Hawkins for Happy Go Lucky. There. Take a shot. Or Colin Farrell for In Brugge.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell.
I like Happy Go Lucky a lot, and I remember being really supportive of that nomination. AJ remembers this. But yeah, it's Bruges. Come on. It's Bruges.
I still say Eddie Marsan is the standout of Happy Go Lucky over Hawkins, but maybe that's just me.
No, you're not wrong, but
Is it because I feel like an angry person and I find it more relatable?
No, it's the nomination that I pushed the hardest for. It was my check mark. I got you for that year, for 2008.
Would that be the only Mike Lee movie you probably like?
I would say probably so.
I don't know how you'd feel about Peter Lowe. Because that was his last one, right? He hasn't done anything since, has he?
I actually never saw Peter Lowe.
That we're going home.
That was like Rocks, but set in the 1850s. It did feel like a documentary rather than a drama. But then, because it's based on a real thing, you know.
We may have to cut it at 6:30 next time.
You see, that's what I said. We needed to cut it early.
Ashley, we're not doing anything else after chat. We're just going to cut the show, and then we're going to take the long list and put it into later this week.
Yeah, either in the Globe post show, depending how much we have to talk about, or even wrap it into the predictions bit. Which movie shoes would you most want to collect? Red shoes from the Red Shoes, Data's slick shoes from the Goonies, the PF Flyers from Sandlot, the Nike Classic Cortez from Forrest Gump, the Nike Air Mags from Back to the Future 2, the Scuffed Jordans from Do the Right Thing, the Ruby Slippers from Wizard of Oz, the Knife Boots from Russia with Love, the Magic Jordans from Like Mike, the Paris Slippers from Jumanji, the Jojo Rabbit shoes, or Cinderella's glass slippers.
The Wizard of Oz is the obvious one. My two runners-up would probably be Data and Bugging Out from Do the Right Thing.
My answer's not even on this list. I want Maxwell's smart shoe phone.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's if I had to pick any shoes in the history of film or television, it would be I want the slip-ons with the shoe phone. I mean, I guess I could cop out and use Andy Dick's sneakers from the remake, but I mean, there's still a phone in there, but it's not the same. I want Don Adams shoes, 100%. But if I had to pick anything on that list, it's a pair of shoes I've seen so many times because I frequent there anyway all the time. I want Forrest Gump shoes.
So, before you answer, brother, I guess my question to you is, if you had to choose a shoe with a knife in it, would you take Rosa Klebs or would you take the Jokers?
I would take the Jokers.
Of course.
That's what I was gonna say. It would fit well on this shelf right over here.
So with Don Adams shoe phone over there.
We don't want the other one because the other one took out our boy Kronstein, and that's unacceptable.
Wow, on that front, Small Tasks shoe from Austin Powers. Because if it's got the same power as Oddjob's bowler hat from Goldfinger, that'd be good.
Random task.
How was it? I can't remember.
That is one of my favorite subtle jokes in all of Austin Powers. His name is Task. It's
I
one
might
of those
go on
when,
Mark.
when I first saw it, it just kind of went by, but as I've gotten older, it's gotten funnier.
Josephine says the glass slippers are be afraid of hurting my feet. I'm talking stabbing.
Probably.
Anybody seen the man with the one red shoe?
Yes. I love the fact. Honestly, the one thing that stands out to me about that movie is I feel like not long before I saw it, I had a conversation, probably with my brother, about how Tom Noonan never survived his movies. And lo and behold, we're watching a wacky comedy like The Man with One Red Shoe, and sure enough, Tom Noonan is in it, and sure enough, he dies.
I want a movie where Tom Noonan and Sean Bean are the main characters. I want it to be like Assassins or like Ballistic. Just those two against each other.
Is the joke that neither one of them die, or is the joke that it's like Edge of Tomorrow and they keep dying?
No, they'll go through the whole hour and a half. It'll be like The Living and Night of the Living Dead. They'll go through the whole hour and a half. They'll come to an agreement at the end, and then someone else takes them out.
For 09 on the Globes, I think we only have comedy or musical for this one, so it's either Streep for Julie and Julia or Downey Jr. for Sherlock.
That would be Streep for me.
Streep.
Yeah, I really like the Downey Sherlock Holmes movies, but I'll get Streep.
Ashley, did you skip 2008? Because I didn't hear you say it.
Oh no, that we did. Yeah, we missed the other one. Hang on, I'll get back to that in a minute. I'd give Downey. I give it to Downey Jr. because I think Streep only gets it because she can sort of sound like her, and having seen Sarah Lancashire's performance do it on television, I think she does it better. So yeah, for 08 drama, we've got Winslet for Revolutionary Road or Rourke for The Wrestler.
This is actually tough.
Ram.
I love Revolutionary Road.
I think Winslet is better in Revolutionary Road than she is the Reader. For starters.
Easily.
Mm-hmm.
That's the movie she should have got the acclaim for.
Yeah, but this is Rourke pretty easily.
Basically, me and AJ wanted to wax poetic about Revolutionary Road for a few minutes to talk about how superior it is to the Reader before saying Mickey Rourke.
I could write an essay on the Michael Shannon scene.
Oh my god. And I still say it, I love Milk, but Mickey Rourke got screwed.
Mickey Rourke got screwed, Colin Farrell got more screwed.
Agreed on both.
Yeah, but Mickey Rourke had a pretty sick burn to come out of it, too.
True.
What's that?
When he talked about how he had a burn come out of it. Remember when I think it was Rourke that said that, of course, Sean Penn would win the award for playing someone gay because something about Sean Penn being homophobic.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was the most homophobic guy he knows, I think.
Yeah.
That's logical.
Favorite MGM musical? Asks Spencer.
Am I disqualified from saying The Wizard of Oz?
I mean, when I looked for MGM musicals on Google, the first thing that came up was Wizard of Oz.
What else came up?
Right after that would be West Side Story for me, probably.
Give me a minute.
I mean, I'd probably go with Singing in the Rain.
I'd look to give a more obscure answer, but I don't have the internet pulled up. That would be a whole task.
I'm trying to see.
I do because
IMDb has a list of all of them technically, which goes back to the 29s, which I don't know whether I'd count. 200? You fucking kidding me?
it's okay. It goes fast. I'm on 93 right now.
Because I guess most of the iconic ones would actually be the 50s ones rather than their earlier stuff.
Right. Oh, real quick, Spencer says, do you guys have a watch list of movies you haven't seen from past years?
Easily.
I should. I only have a mental one, but I should definitely have a physical one, and I don't.
I don't. I only watch movies when provoked.
I would like to have one, and I know AJ would probably love to build it.
Will you let me? Because I will.
If
I
you
absolutely will.
if you want to, because I just finished Married with Children, so I'm looking for other stuff to watch during work.
Obviously, without spoilers. Yet.
Huh?
Without
Singing
saying spoilers, have you watched Glass Onion yet?
No.
Oh, you have to.
No.
That's
one I watched last night. I watched Smile.
Oh, interesting.
I liked it. I just hated the ending.
I don't mind it. I still don't mind Smile's ending.
I don't know. I didn't like the ending.
No, I like how the ending kind of calls back to a line that kind of passively goes by.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, just as long as I never have to see men again, we're good to go.
I assume you also haven't watched Maverick yet, then.
No.
These are priorities for now. For those two.
Yeah, I figured you would put those two. I figured you would put Captain Phillips on there.
Yep.
So Josephine's got a couple of casting things for you both, Chris and AJ. So first up, a family vacation film with Colin Farrell, Michelle Monaghan and Ed Harris. And why is it Little Miss Sunshine 2?
I was gonna say, oh, this could be a light comedy, but then you said Ed Harris.
I think
I would have. Okay, who was? It was Michelle Monaghan, Ed Harris, and who was the other?
Colin Farrell.
So Colin Farrell and Michelle Monaghan are going to break down in a small town where Ed Harris is a dirty cop, kind of like Tom Noonan in Knock Around Guys.
Ooh.
No, Ed Harris has one job, and that's selling oranges on the side of the road.
It kind of sounds like Vacancy a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I'd watch Vacancy with those three.
And then, okay, so some of these have already been cast apparently for you. A witchcraft film with Taylor Russell, Dev Patel, Elizabeth Perkins, and Marianne Jean-Baptiste, with Delroy Lindo as the priest and James Spader as a doctor.
Did I hear Elizabeth Perkins?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where is she?
I saw her in an episode of Monk.
I think she had a major part on Weeds, didn't she?
I think.
I feel like that's the last time I heard about her. Unless I'm forgetting something.
Let me quickly see if she's up to anything. Oh, she had a voice role in My Little Pony and New Generation, and uncredited in Ghostbusters, but hasn't really done anything since Hop, 11 years ago. And then, yeah, very little as well on TV in that gap. A few bits of Sharp Objects, and cameoed last year in Barry as well for one episode. Is she working on it? I'll have a quick see if she's working on anything.
Do you remember the Barry one, AJ?
I feel like I remember her. I remember like noticing her in Barry, but I can't remember the context.
Credits. Oh, God, it's taking forever. While I get that to... Wait, can I sort it by upcoming? No, it literally says nothing upcoming. She was in the After Party and Minx this year, apparently. And 3 episodes of Barry, not 1 like Wikipedia said. But nothing currently, so hope's all is well with her. To 2010 for the Globes. With a comedy or musical, I think that's the only... Yeah, the only one for 2010. Annette Bening for Kids Are Alright, or Paul Giamatti for Barney's version.
I can't ever go against Paul Giamatti.
I might have to.
Barney's version, but I know I can't go against him.
I'd have to say Bening, just based on the fact that Barney's version didn't make much of an impact on me.
Yeah, I didn't.
I might need to see it again though. I've only seen it since like during that award season.
I don't think it was as strong as like other stuff like American Splendor and Sideways from a few years before. So
yeah, it's hard to go against Giamatti, but I really like Bening and the Kids Are Alright.
favorite fictional school principal face-off. Who would win in a fight? The principal from South Park or the principal from The Simpsons?
Skinner!
I honestly think his mother would be the one to fight his battles for him.
I love Skinner's mom so much.
Somehow I think the South Park principal would actually murder though. Whereas I think Skinner's too much of a nice guy.
Once again, Skinner's mom would fight his battle, and that's where she would go.
I have to agree. She would probably call him a wimp and tell him to get the hell out of the way.
I'm not familiar enough with The Simpsons to even know this character, but this conversation is very funny to me, out of context.
Oh man, if you knew Skinner, it'd be even funnier.
He wants...
I'm telling you, you should put The Simpsons on sometime just as background noise. Like, do whatever you want while it's on, but you'll eventually hear some.
Dude, he needs to watch George Carlin before he watches The Simpsons. That's when he needs to put on his background noise.
He wants...
The Simpsons is way much of a time commitment. George Carlin is not.
True.
He once ruined his roast so bad that he had to go to Krusty Burger to get hamburgers and disguise them as his own cooking, which somehow paid off because the superintendent is gullible.
I just like how Ralph calls him Super Nintendo Chalmers.
Yeah.
I work at Universal. I deal with Springfield all the time. So come on.
That one does get me every time.
Super Nintendo Chalmers.
It's the way he says it. It is. Oh, little Ralph Wiggum.
Rosalie Mullins in School of Rock or Miss Schlowski from Kindergarten Cop?
Miss Schlowski, she's excited by violence.
Yeah,
Michalowski's more of a brick wall.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cusack would break.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just
Wow.
put on some Stevie Nicks and give her some alcohol. I don't see a Stevie Nicks for Schlosky.
Um, Dean Rooney from Ferris Bueller or Richard Vernon from The Breakfast Club?
It's Rooney.
I feel like Rooney's more unhinged.
Rooney would actually
Rooney-
I
try
think
and
Rooney
kill
has killed
somebody.
people. I think Rooney has literally killed people and buried
Yeah.
in his basement. Legitimately. He seems like the type that just would snap at a moment's notice, and he does.
Rooney's character seems like that bit in The Simpsons where it's copying T2 and Skinner goes into the river and comes out the other side completely emotionless.
Yes.
That feels like Rooney.
We're
Target-
not saying that Vernon is like sunshine and rainbows or anything. But
He feels like
I
he
feel
thinks
more intent from Rooney for murder. Than,
I think Vernon wants to play the hard ass, but I don't think he can actually deliver.
that makes sense.
Vernon would break your arm, Rooney would break it, get a blooming blunt knife and cut it and keep cutting it because he wants to leave you so much torture, and then take the arm with him.
Vernon will say he's going to break your arm, and he just doesn't follow through. Like a dad that says I'm going to beat you when I get home. And of course, he's like, when you get home, it's like he just goes and falls asleep. Sorry, I've been there before. So there.
By the way, while we're on the topic, shout out to mine and my brother's top 15 villains video where Rooney did in fact make my brother flip.
So great.
Principal Himbury from Scream or the principal from Mean Girls?
Was Mean Girls Tim
Meadows
Meadows?
just breaks his arm. Hembry dies.
I think they're both too nice.
I mean, you could say he was justified. Hembry felt a little unhinged too. You mean you get where he's coming from? You get where he's coming from, but holy shit!
I'm going with Hembry. The resident scream mark on the network. I don't think Tim Meadows anything.
Yeah, Tim Meadows is hilarious on Mean Girls, but
He is not going to hurt anyone. He is going to give you a sandwich and let you go on your merry way.
the thing about Tim Meadows and Mean Girls, though, he can shut a crowd up. We know
True.
that.
Fair.
Josephine says no spoilers, please, but Spencer's asked favourite part of Babylon, if you want to be vague. Spencer singles out the scene with the microphone and the sound guy, with the guy dying after being locked in the booth.
That's hilarious.
And that's not
hilarious.
and for Josie's sake, that's not as spoilery as it sounds. That's a character we meet in that scene.
Yeah, and we never see him again, literally.
Yeah, I would say that's the first scene that came to mind. Really, just any of Pitt's scenes are really good. Except for the Pitt is present during that scene. But like we're cutting back and forth between them.
I can't.
I'm all about the Tobey Maguire stuff too, honestly.
Toby's stuff
I think
is great.
The scene where Toby's going through his pitches, I think, might be my favorite moment.
Josephine also adds Mr. Strickland from Back to the Future or Miss Trunchbull from Matilda.
Is this still who would win in a fight?
Yeah,
Yes.
That's Trunchbull, obviously.
100%
Trunchbull. Eva variant.
I mean, Strickland survived alternate 1985 Hill Valley.
Yeah. He definitely looked like he'd been through some shit there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel Trunchbull would have either as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say Strickland went through a lot, but we haven't seen Strickland in the Choky yet.
I think Trunchbull first and ask questions later.
I only buy this if right before Trunchbull kills him, he calls her a slacker.
Spencer says, I can't watch the new Matilda because the meaning of the original film has to me such a special gem that warms my heart.
It's fair.
I can understand that.
Now that I just kind of kept forgetting about it, but now that Thompson's been shortlisted by BAFTA, I guess I have to.
Especially because considering other people that are in that list and the old British skew, I am wondering whether it's got enough power to find its way in. We'll see. Spencer saying, watching old prediction videos and I realised that Ashley is hilarious. I'm trying to work out. Can you explain? Can I have an example of how? Because I'm trying to remember.
Have you watched now, Spencer? If you were watching the wrestling podcast from back in the day, I totally understand what you would be talking about.
I think I did some. I'm pretty sure I did something funny.
Oh yeah,
I think it's
all of us have our moments.
arguably the hot damn thing because that makes AJ laugh his ass off every time.
The thing that got me the most, funniest thing to me, the funniest thing Ashley's ever done on this channel is when Jared Leto was pretending to be the donkey.
Oh God, yeah. I forgot 12 months ago that yeah. Okay, there is an example.
So, speaking of an example, live chat right now. Get your questions ready. May 1st, 2023, our 10-year anniversary of Popcast Network. We're not asking movie questions. We're not asking regular questions. Oh no, we're asking us questions. Questions about things you've seen on Popcast, things you've seen on videos, non-personal questions about this group. We're going to have some fun on that night, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So get your questions ready. People like Spencer, Josie, and Brian are going to have a heyday with this show.
The irony is everything that I did as the joke with Jared Leto last year, I feel I want to do again with Chris Pratt and the Mario movie this year.
God.
It just fits.
Yeah, I saw the Mario trailer in the 3D when I went to go see the Flight of Passage video game movie.
Oh, you mean the film that ripped off The Last Airbender? With literally the same subtitle for the second book.
Nah, this is the generic video game movie that shouldn't make any money.
Yet somehow
or be in the Oscar race.
Yet somehow it's 1.7 billion. Goddammit. For 2011 and the Globes, we've got quite a few here now, bunged together.
This is when it starts getting fun.
For comedy or musical, Michelle Williams for My Week with Marilyn or John Dujardin for The Artist? Williams.
For me.
Same.
And then in drama, Streep for The Iron Lady or Clooney for The Descendants?
Clooney. 2011 has a lot of me and AJ's favorite movies, period. So this is going to be very easy.
2011 was a pretty shit year overall.
Not for movies.
Yeah. I think my top two were Drive and The Descendants, and then it was just whatever else.
I'd probably just edge it to Clooney. But Streep does a good job of Thatcher. For 2012, comedy or musical, J-Law for Silver Linings Playbook or Jackman for Les Mis?
to go Jackman, I think.
Chris.
I think I'll go Lawrence.
I'd
Ash?
edge it to Lawrence as well.
My favorite movie of the 2010s. One of my favorite performances of the 2010s for many reasons. Jennifer Lawrence.
I hate to derail when we're this far in, but I do have to point out that thing where Hugh Jackman made that video begging the Academy not to nominate Good Afternoon from Spirited because it would get Reynolds nominated. I was betting on Good Afternoon getting in, and I did not know Reynolds is credited for it, which would mean Reynolds would get nominated.
We can't have that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
Darkest
to go
timeline.
find. I'm gonna have to Barry Kia myself. If you know, you know. It's.
Just in general.
There's plenty of places to do so where you live, so you're good. But don't get me wrong. I love Les Mis and I love Jackman, but like I said, I mean, I can't go against that performance of all things.
And then for drama, Chastain for Zero Dark 30 or Day-Lewis for Lincoln.
Oh,
Come on.
Day-Lewis. I saw this movie on a 3-story screen on the Disney Fantasy, and it was incredible.
Yeah, because not only is it Day-Lewis in Lincoln, but like I've made my point that Zero Dark 30 is one of the very few Chastain performances I don't like.
Right.
So that just makes it even easier.
Yeah, I'd say Day-Lewis as well. Oh, 2013. Supporting. Leto for Dallas Buyers Club or J-Law for American Hustle?
Leto.
Yeah, Leto, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the Buyers Club so much.
I'd say J-Law just for Live and Let Die. How can you make hoovering appealing? Just put 1973 Paul McCartney and Wings on it.
Another easy battle.
For comedy or musical, Adams for American Hustle or DiCaprio for I'm Not Going.
Yeah, that's DiCaprio.
Yeah, that's a Leo.
DiCaprio handle. Because
Then-
brother, you finally saw Wolf of Wall Street, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
The only one for 2014 from comedy or musical, Amy Adams for Big Eyes or Keaton for Birdman.
That would be Keaton.
Yeah, I'd have to say Keaton.
I'm in the minority of Big Eyes because I actually didn't mind it. But yeah, Keaton.
I like the fact you say minority, where it's like, I don't absolutely love Big Eyes, but I sort of did like it. It's just Birdman.
Yeah, actually, I don't-
Birdman's a juggernaut.
I think it's Christoph Waltz for me. That's always the answer when it comes to movies like that.
I guess these are a couple of easy ones. For 2015, in the supporting category, Winslet for Steve Jobs or Stallone for Creed. I mean, I'd say Stallone pretty easily.
I'm going Stallone.
Stallone.
Did AJ say Stallone?
He didn't say anything.
I said Stallone first. Nobody heard
All
that.
right, no.
Oh. Speaking of also givens,
Yeah. J-Law for Joy in comedy or musical, or Damon for The Martian?
Damon.
I got to do it since no one else took the opportunity. Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. Also, how are either of them comedies?
The Martian is really funny.
I've had to say this every time. I will stand by The Martian being put in comedy.
No, but like Joy. I don't know whether Joy's a comedy.
I barely remember Joy.
I have to because they show it at 1 o'clock in the morning on Channel 4 practically every 2 months. It's like they want people to see it. I don't know.
That sounds like such a depressing sentence. What you just said. I don't even remember Joy.
Then again,
Wow.
that station now has just picked up the rights to Pulp Fiction, which apparently has got a massive viewership tonight. So
Every time you do a worst list, you need to end it with that.
what?
Yeah.
What if something's on repeat every 2 months on a?
What's even more depressing is the more I think about that statement now that you've shown a spotlight on it, the more I'm starting to feel like it's true.
No, it can't be true. I remember the last time you felt joy. Remember when you opened Guillermo del Toro?
Yeah, and when I realized you could back me up on the Santa Claus's opening, that was a good moment.
Spencer said I started writing a movie idea about a year ago about a lonely 60-year-old who's watched a happily married couple in their 30s and slowly gets deeper attached and they're unable to escape
1 hour photo?
with deadly intentions. Yeah, it does seem 1 hour photo-esque, certainly, yeah. Right, for 2016, supporting Viola Davis for Fences or Aaron Taylor Johnson for Nocturnal Animals.
Oh, damn.
That's a tough one.
I haven't seen Nocturnal Animals, but I have seen Fences. So I would be pretty comfortable saying Viola Davis without.
There's something else for your watch list.
I would I'd say Viola Davis because I honestly think Shannon did a better supporting performance.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh man. Yeah. I'd probably say Davis. Because they both of them really have like the one standout scene. With Davis having the "I've been standing with you" scene, and Johnson having the big scene, his first scene. I'd probably say Davis, but I do agree also that I slightly prefer Shannon to Taylor Johnson.
I'm going with just barely. But yeah, Shannon is far and above the standout.
For comedy or musical, is it Stone or Gosling for La La Land?
I mean, it's Stone, but whatever.
This is what
It's Stone.
I'd say Stone because it's sort of her story that we see. Because
She has a lot more work.
Gosling comes in and out of it, sort of thing.
She's the focal point. She has to dance. She has to sing. She has to do everything in the movie.
Gosling's character is such a whiny little bitch. But that's the thing, is he played it well, so it's tough.
Yeah. Speaking of joy, for drama, Isabel Hooper for Elle or Casey Affleck for Manchester by the Sea?
For God's sake, you're actually going to make me say Casey Affleck, aren't you?
Wow, really?
God damn it.
Yeah, I hate this.
Yeah, L as a whole just didn't.
Nope.
And I love Verhoeven, but L just did not work for me, like, at all.
I too am forced to say Casey Affleck.
Damn it.
I don't like it. I don't like this. I'm scared, Will. What are we gonna do?
Through gritted teeth, I have to say Affleck, because I think, although it was supporting, I think Hooper did a better job in Greta.
Yeah. And I do have to say this, like, if it weren't for the fact that Fences was that year, I'd feel because Casey Affleck is very good in Manchester by the Sea. But, like, the fact that he beat such a titan of a performance is just forever tainted. And like I said, I hate to be the guy that says that, but that it's been like fucking 7 years and I can't get over it. Well, 6 years technically, and I can't get over it still.
Josie says, can I share the book series I've been working on, Promise Nobody Steals Anything? She's put it in the after line, so we'll touch on it. But try and get through the rest of these somewhat quickly. 2017 comedy or musical? Saoirse Ronan for Lady Bird or Franco for Disaster Artist?
James Franco got screwed.
I love Ronan and Lady Bird.
Same, but
The scene that always comes to mind is when she thinks she's joking around with Chalamet, but she says, "I'm gonna kill your whole family," and he like reacts for real.
Yeah.
fun fact, I came across my time hop on Facebook that I actually watched that yesterday.
I'm gonna say Franco was great, but I might have to say Ronan.
He is Tom, and that's all I need to know.
That's the biggest compliment Greta Gerwig's gonna get from me, and I've been watching White Noise, and that remains the same.
I'd edge it to Ronan. Spencer asks, okay, have you got one, Chris?
I haven't seen Lady Bird.
Oh, okay. So by default would be Franco.
Yeah, by default. Yeah, I do really like the Disaster Artist, though.
I like the book too.
Spencer asks, biggest disappointment of 2021 movie-wise and biggest surprise? 2021?
I don't have my list in front of me.
I was thinking we answered this for 2021 because I said Those Who Wish Me Dead. Unless it's a typo and he meant this past year.
Spencer, you're allowed to say if that's a typo.
Because I don't think we've been asked about disappointments from this year, have we?
I don't think so. I guess because we'll probably naturally put that into the flow of like when we get to like the best of this year. We'll probably also bring up like some of the, maybe not the worst, but you know, the disappointments and things like that. Also, before I forget, because I noticed it's just popped up in chat. Hi, Cassie.
Hi, Cassie.
All right, so do we want to bookmark the disappointments question?
Yeah. And biggest surprise as well. I think we'll wrap that in as well. For 2018 with the Globes. For comedy or musical, Coleman in her supporting performance for The Favourite, or Bale for Vice. I'd say Coleman.
Oh.
This is actually hard.
I'd say Coleman,
Dude.
but Just because I think Bale's done. I
Here's
think he
here's
did
the
better in Big Short, but
here's the thing though, is I love Coleman, but when I see footage of the real Cheney
yeah,
today,
true.
I still see Bale.
Yep.
That's fucked up.
I haven't
I've
seen
got it.
Coleman's performance, but I'll go with Bale just on the simple fact that I had a hell of a time watching Vice.
I love The Favorite, but yeah, Bale.
We need to. One of the times we're in the same room again, brother. We need to watch Vice together. I want to see what that's like.
And then in drama, Glenn Close for The Wife or Rami Malek for Borat Horseman.
Malik.
I'm gonna say Malik, but Close is great too.
I'll go with Malik.
I'd say Close, just because you sort of feel in every bit of the way like the bunny boiler part of her character from previous films wanting to come out with everything that happens more and more, and yet she doesn't. She somehow keeps it tensioned in. Spencer asks thoughts on both Fames, the original release from the 70s and the 09. Was it a remake or was it a sequel? I can't remember.
I think it's a remake.
The remake.
I won't lie. At first, I thought you were going to say Bowfinger, and I was going to ask how much time do you have.
The answer is not much.
Though that once again, there is a Bowfinger video on this channel.
God damn it. Is that enough to not make it part of Movie Club? Or is that an exception to the rule?
I feel like I remember. Weirdly enough, I feel like I remember the remake more because I got a big crush on who is that actress's name that played Lil Kim the same year. I can't remember now. She was Lil Kim in Notorious, but I remember her from the remake, and I think that's where my mind goes.
Oh, Nautri Naughton.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm a fan of. Oh,
You would think it'd be Notorious, but it was actually Fame, where I was like, oh wow, I have a huge crush on her.
2019 Globes. The only one again for comedy or musical. Aquafina for Farewell or Edgerton for Rocket Man.
Edgerton.
Say Aquafina because Rocket Man just really didn't do anything for me.
I'll go with Edgerton. I haven't seen the Aquafina performance, but I liked Edgerton and Rocket Man.
It was good to see Aquafina not be sort of out and out stupid, like she has been now for the rest of her career since like doing this like really smart comedy rather than Jumanji.
I did a total 180 on Aquafina because of the Farewell. Because when Shang-Chi came out, she was back to doing her normal Aquafina thing, and I was like, oh, I love her. that's like solely based on the Farewell changing my mind.
Okay. This will be complicated because of releases over here. So I might sit this one out. The worst and best January released movies you've seen. Spencer says for him, the worst was The Devil Inside and the best would either be Megan or Mama.
Can't go wrong with either one of those two.
One of the best would have to be Split.
Well, it's great.
God knows how many of those Paranormal Activity sequels came out January though, right?
Probably. I would, even though it's brand new, I would throw Scream 5 into great January releases.
100%.
Yeah.
The worst would have to be stuff like the Bye Bye Man and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I still forget, because it has January written all over it. I still can't believe Slender Man was a summer release. Because it just like when I think of Slender Man, the first thing I think of is like that's such a January movie. Blumhouse probably? No. I think Fantasy Island was February, but that's close enough.
Oh, 2020 for supporting for the Globes. Daniel Kaluuya in his lead performance in Judas and the Black Messiah, or Jodie Foster for the Mauritanian.
Kaluuya.
Yeah, that's Kaluuya.
Kaluuya.
Am I the only person here that even saw the Mauritanian?
Uh-huh.
Am I the only person here that even saw the Mauritanian?
I still think I haven't even caught up for it, even though it's like on Amazon. And I'd easily be able to access it.
That was another one. I only really watched it for award season, and it kind of just went in and out.
I'm just trying to look at like films that came out in January in America so I can like contribute something. For comedy or musical, we've got Rosamund Pike for I Care a Lot, or Baron Cohen for Borat subsequent movie film. Ooh.
I guess Cohen.
Owen.
I haven't seen either one.
Oh, you haven't seen Borat 2 yet?
Uh-uh.
I'd just about edge it to Cohen, but I do like the sinister nature of Pike's character. And then for drama, Under a Day for US versus Billie Holiday, or Chadwick Boseman for sorry Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, that's Boseman all day.
That's Boseman. Which actor or actress is going to have their year this year in terms of good projects, and who do you think's in for a bad year?
As in 2023?
Yeah.
I hope Brendan Fraser's star continues to shine next year. I hope this doesn't end up being just a fluke year for him.
Oh, his next movie should be Scorsese's movie.
Oh, The Killers of the Flower Moon.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, apart from the Scorsese movie, I'm not even sure what I'm anticipating this coming year. I try not to look ahead because dates change too much, and I don't want to get excited. Just like Killers of the Flower Moon, I got so excited for it to come out last year, and it didn't, so I try not to look that far ahead.
I'm just waiting for for Warner Brothers to announce that The Flash got the slash.
Scream 6.
I'm never going to get Keaton back as Batman. It's not going to happen.
I'm a little concerned for animation, generally. Because we're getting a Troll sequel, we're getting another Paw Patrol movie. I don't know what shape...
Elemental looks good.
I don't know what shape Pixar's even going to be in right now.
Elemental looks good.
Is Strange World this year or next year?
Yeah. It's
and I
in
guess we've
theaters
also got
now.
we got Spider-Verse in June as well.
I always forget about Strange. I still haven't seen Strange World yet. Not only has it already come out, I think it's on Disney Plus right now.
Yeah.
Oh, is
it? And it didn't even make BAFTA's long list, so.
But something else did.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Not tonight. We're not.
No. I just saw along the side the same day as Compare Jesus Revolution, and I immediately wanted it to be another sequel to the blooming Jesus thing from Big Lebowski, but it isn't.
Weird.
It's got Kelsey Grammer. Kelsey Grammer.
Keep talking.
Oh dear Lord. Oh, favorite January release, at least for America. Paddington 2, motherfuckers.
That's a fair statement. 2021.
Yeah, supporting DeBose for West Side Story or Smith McPhee for Power of the Doogie Howser.
Haven't seen either one.
McPhee.
I'm gonna say DeBose here.
I just about edge Smith McPhee. 'Cause I think-
To me, the whole ensemble always gets credit. The only person that really floored me in Power of the Dog was Cumberbatch, honestly.
Right.
For comedy or musical, Zegler for West Side Story or Garfield for Tick Tick Boom.
Oh,
Garfield.
Garfield.
Don't even ask me that question.
Yeah.
Get that shit out of here.
And then for drama, Kidman for Being the Ricardos or I'm Gonna Punch You for King Richard.
It's another one where it's. I mean, obviously Kidman's one of my favorite actresses, but that's kind of a no question that it's Smith.
Yeah, Smith has a better job. Spencer says AJ, excellent video for Roxanne and Cyrano de Bergerac. Great knowledge on some excellent films. Also,
Spencer's really doing a lot for my self-esteem because, like I said, I only think, oh, those videos must have been terrible.
Here comes some more self-esteem then, AJ. AJ and Owen, excellent job both on Garden State and Elizabethtown's video. You two play off each other very well.
Elizabethtown is a movie that back in the day was extremely important to me personally. So I pretty much would have defended it to my dying day. Maybe now things are different in life. I may feel different about it, but I still remember every single word. I still love that freaking soundtrack so much.
Also, fun fact, I'm sick in that video, and you can't tell.
Are sick in that video. Yes, I remember that.
Spencer says, also watching Fallen tonight and revisited Frailty. Frailty still scares the shit out of me. Great film. I've never heard of Fallen. What's it about?
Ooh. What's the question is what's Fallen about?
Yeah. I guess just in general
Don't tell
terms.
him. Let him go in blind.
Yeah, it's... yeah, because I'm not sure where you... Because it sets itself up as something else, but then quickly becomes something else.
Oh,
it's
a glass onion, if you will.
Yeah, I'll say this: it is Denzel as a homicide detective that gets wrapped up in a supernatural case.
So
but
St. Elsewhere.
Even though it's supernatural, it's played very grounded.
It's a police version of St. Elsewhere. That 9/11 movie with Jake Gyllenhaal is really turning me off. Jake ruined rewatches of his past movies too. He's the weaker actor of the siblings.
I know Maggie was in World Trade Center. What about was Gyllenhaal in a 9/11 movie?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm sure Spencer's right, but I'm trying to figure out what he's referring to.
I guess it sounds vaguely familiar, but why am I blanking?
You're not talking about Ambulance. That's not a 9/11 movie.
I hope he isn't getting it confused with Stronger with the Boston Marathon thing.
That could be.
Because Demolition wasn't 9/11, right?
Oh wait, it might have been. Isn't he recovering from like a tragedy?
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to.
I don't know.
Can't remember. No, I can't remember off the top of my head. I vaguely remember seeing it. Hang on. Demolition. There's a semicolon randomly in there as well. That's good. That's a car crash. Jake Gyllenhaal. 9/11. This sounds like it's going to be a conspiracy theory. Oh, The Guilty.
Oh, yeah, the 911 movie.
Yeah. But it's dashed like 9/11.
Wow.
If you said 911 in all one text, I'd have got it.
Oh shit. We just wasted a lot of time.
Also, by searching 9/11, I found out that Maggie Gyllenhaal was making critical comments back in 2005 relating to it. So maybe the Gyllenhaal shouldn't be anything to do with 9s or 1s or 11s. I don't know. Also, if you want the good version of that 911 film, watch the original foreign one, Spencer, which I think is the same title, right?
Yeah.
From Sweden, I think, or was it Iceland?
I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was Oscar shortlisted.
Or was it Danish? I know it was Scandinavian.
Danish sounds right, but I'm not the person to ask.
Yeah. Spencer says, Owen, Tar is much better on rewatch. It's still not great, but gets better with repeat viewings.
I will. I mean, it will be something I'll watch again, and I will do the same. Well, like Belfast and Power of the Dog, both. When I first watched both of those on first viewings, I didn't like either one of those, but rewatches did help, and I enjoyed both of them, and I became a fan of both of them. Do I think I'm going to become a fan of Tar? Oh, hell no. But I do think that I may understand what people are seeing in it a little bit more if I get another rewatch of it. I have to be alert. I have to be on some sort of energy. I have to have drinks with me. I have to do something to keep me awake and eating so I don't fall asleep. Because once you lose me, I'm gone.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've ordered my Blu-ray, and it's taking its sweet ass time getting here. But
So, luckily, AMC and Cinemark both have this Best Picture marathon gimmick. AMC does it where they have it like to a span of a couple days. And if you watch everything, get like popcorn and stuff. Cinemark does it where, because obviously not all 10 will be watched by the theater chain because of their deals with like Netflix and Apple and things like that. So I have to like travel to the other theater chain to watch the other ones. But rest assured, if I'm forced to see Tar as a Best Picture contender, the only movie that I can tell you right now that I will not watch theatrically ever again when it comes to the Best Picture lineup this year is going to be Avatar. All Quiet on the Western Front I will watch. I don't have access to it anywhere, but I have a good feeling that Cinemark will get it or AMC will get it, and I'll be able to watch it if it somehow ends up using its BAFTA powers to slide into Best Picture somehow.
Josie saying again, I'm the biggest Tar defender here. Love seeing Triangle of Sadness getting in the long list as much as it is. Spencer saying again, I love Tom Field, so I'm trying to love it. I love Triangle of Sadness. That goes great with Glass Onion. Favorite Mike White movie.
assuming we're talking writing and directing or just writing.
I'd say so, yeah.
Is it weird? I want to say School of Rock.
That's still got the charm from me from like 20 years ago.
Oh, I love Dead Man on Campus so much, though.
Oh my god, I forgot he wrote Dead Man on Campus.
It's his first movie.
That's amazing.
His first writing gig was Dead Man on Campus. I love that movie.
Yeah, I can just mention in passing, but I was going to say it for our Globes video, but I can just say it in passing. I finally watched the season 2 of The White Lotus this morning, and I'm very much looking forward to continuing.
Triangle of Sadness also pairs well with Louis Bonnell's Exterminating Angel, about party guests who somehow can't leave the house they're having the party in.
Josie, I can't watch Triangle of Sadness because that movie gets me absolutely so sick to my stomach. I can't get through the last half of it.
Literally because of sick to the stomach.
The garbage that happens in the second half of the movie, I literally can't. And I have a strong stomach. I've watched so many death matches, it's not even funny, but it's just too real. And I don't have any sort of phobia of any type, and I can't get through it.
I just think my favorite thing about the Exterminating Angel is the joke in Midnight in Paris, where Owen Wilson meets Louis Bonnell and gives him the idea.
Nice.
Might that be the exception then, Owen? If Triangle of Sadness made it in the Best Picture 10, you would leave after the first half, maybe, or?
I don't do that. I don't leave. I don't movies. Okay. AJ knows this to be true. I don't leave movies. I just purposely sleep during movies.
Right.
I will get comfortable, and then I'll wake up and I'll see it still on. I was like, well, going back to sleep. I hope that we don't live in a world where Triangle of Sadness gets in Best Picture. I already have to deal with Tar and Avatar. I don't want to deal with anything else.
I still can't bring myself to I still haven't gotten my first watch in yet because I just.
Dude, you can't do it. You doing that is like me trying to watch a Potter movie.
I had heard. I hear like the scene's like 12 minutes or something.
It's nuts how long they focus on everything, and it is bad.
Brother, if you're in the dark, we're talking about a 12-minute puking scene.
It won't stop either.
Like it's apparently it's been compared to the scene in the only like more.
You said Team America, right?
I said The Meaning of Life.
Oh, I would say Team America. If I had to equate it to anything I've seen.
From what I've heard, it's like Team America meets Meaning of Life meets that bit when they do it every so often in Family Guy, and that probably about matches what happens in Triangle of Sadness.
And I'm trying to focus on the performances, but then it's like, and Woody Harrelson comes out unscathed, but it's just like, I can't do it.
Yeah, when I want my Eat the Rich movies this year, I will take Glass Onion and The Menu. I rewatched The Menu when they put it on HBO Max, and it is phenomenal. I love The Menu. What's funny is as soon as The Menu ended, I was like, I could see myself watching this again very soon. Like it's very convenient that it's streaming right now.
Spencer says, I really appreciate hearing Owen's movies opinions on films. He has a unique taste that I admire.
Thank you, Spencer. I have a very eclectic taste in movies, to say the least.
And Joe says, I love how Owen isn't afraid to admit he loves rom-coms.
Hell no, Josie. Some of my favorite movies of all time were romantic comedies. Don't forget, I went to bat for Marry Me this past year. Me and AJ both did.
I had to call you and tell you you're never going to believe this, but Marry Me is good. Isn't that weird?
I mean, the trailer was enough that I was like, well, I have my thought process for this movie. I'm going to watch it. And then you put it over basically saying it's like, usually AJ will give me like my litmus test when it comes to what I need to watch. And we agree a lot, but I've noticed as the years have going by, we don't agree as much as we used to. And that leads to the spirited conversations we have here on the network.
Spencer says, I love rom-coms too, and even just straight-out romantic movies. My girlfriend hates them, but I force her to watch them.
Some people don't like them.
All you guys are super cool, and Josie. Great people to talk to. Thank you, Spencer.
Woo! Thank you, Spencer.
Josie says The River Wild will be a great movie club pick. Underrated street performance and great Kevin Bacon performance.
Yeah, no, Josie, we got something coming up our sleeve for later this year that might give you an opportunity to throw that idea our way.
And
Worth
Spencer.
worth noting, the River Wild has a video on this channel. It's a versus with Deliverance. I'm gonna need Spencer to let me know if that video sucks or not. Because in my head,
There
I
you
was
go.
like,
Homework, Spencer. Riverwild versus Deliverance. Does the
especially
video
after
suck?
reading-
Can we revisit it? It's your decision.
especially after reading Tarantino's write up of Deliverance in his new book, I was like, I didn't say jack shit about Deliverance.
It's what happens with the older verses. We had a different concept of how verses went back in the day. We did categories. Could you imagine going back in the older verses that had the categories with the way you do it now?
The categories didn't even last a year. The categories lasted till that October.
Yep. I remember sitting in Buffalo Wild Wings in Athens after movies coming up with categories for verses.
Spencer also says that Jungle Fever should be a movie club consideration.
Yes, definitely.
Again, Spencer, you might have an opportunity sooner than you think to throw that our way.
I think I mentioned recently I had a Spike Lee marathon a couple of years ago, and Jungle Fever is incredible. A lot of his movies are more incredible than I remembered, and that's definitely one of them.
Favorite underseen slasher film. Spencer says Terror Train.
Brain Scan.
I'm trying to work out whether Happy Death Day got enough recognition. I mean, I know it got a sequel, but...
Ashley, it has a house at Halloween Horror Nights on both coasts. I think it has enough recognition.
Okay. That's two.
I gotta make sure I've got this right. This title right.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
That movie's great. That movie is absolutely great, and it's something we have a video of that on this channel.
It's yeah, that's another one where it's like I don't know how good it is. It's a little different. Like it kind of subverts the expectations of a slasher movie a little bit, but it's called The Silent Scream, and it's from 1979. That comes to mind. And I think I've mentioned before the movie Intruder. That has like I can't remember who did it, but I think it has Raimi fingerprints on it.
The home invasion.
I think it's at like a grocery store or a convenience store. I think. Yeah, no, it sounds weird to recommend a movie I remember so vaguely, but I remember it really scratches the slasher itch if you have it.
Bry says, did glow predictions on my channel and I make a risk saying Anna de Armas for actress. Stranger things have happened.
I think this is her final curtain call, Brian, but who knows?
She made it in the, was it 10 or 15 for the BAFTAs?
I don't think she's making it in the 5.
I think Forrest Gump doesn't age well. So many betting movies came out in '94. I don't know whether Hanks needed to win either. Tim Robbins deserved that Oscar.
Spencer, I go to Bubba Gump all the time, and I think I've seen Forrest Gump about 14 million times at this point. So,
yeah, I feel like I've said before that Pulp Fiction is my all-time favorite movie. Yet I have never been bitter about Forrest Gump's picture win.
No. There's the answer, Ashley. Spencer's answer right there.
What? Sometimes if I need a movie, I hit randomize on the versus playlist. And that's the movies I watch for the night.
Playlists are the key to YouTube primacy. What you do is you basically put on a playlist and let it play all night long.
The proposal scene in Walk the Line is my favourite proposal scene in a film. I don't think Josephine don't think asks us for our favourite ones. I'm trying to
Hmm.
think. Uh,
Ashley.
Spencer asks AJ, "How come you haven't reviewed Spencer? I feel offended for obvious reasons."
Why didn't I review Spencer?
I know why you didn't review Mank, but Spencer just kind of
Well,
came in without you doing a review for it.
I think Spencer was in the group of movies of what's going on right now with Avatar and Banshees and stuff, where it's like we're coming at the end of the year where I'm just trying to catch up and watch everything all at once, and like the review isn't as much of a priority as it is just getting everything watched. It probably got mixed up in that time of year.
I'm trying to work out there whether you mean everything all at once or everything everywhere all at once because you're determined to somehow like it. Or both.
This
Yeah.
conversation drops now. Spencer continues.
In my dreams, me and Olivia Colman are in every movie.
Ugh.
Bry also mentions, I believe, Miyazaki's How Do You Live is supposed to come out this year.
Hmm.
And speaking of sick,
Oh,
two
good.
people vomit in Wild Tales.
Is this Miyazaki's next last movie? Or
Probably.
The Terry Funk of anime. Brian says because you felt cold watching Spencer.
I definitely did. Yeah, but I haven't watched it since either. Maybe a year out without all the award stuff going on. It might be a different experience. More puke to avoid. Because that's when it's not the case now.
I got you. So Otto and Megan both do not have vomit scenes.
That's good, I guess. It's rare.
It's just Otto scared a lot of families by not referencing in the trailers that there was quite a lot of suicide in it.
There is a lot of suicide
Well,
in that movie.
I also started watching Blackbird,
Oh, shit!
which has a great first episode, but I went to the site that tells me where their vomit scenes are. And it was like, oh, in episode 1, you're good. Episode 2, you're good. Episode 3, it comes out of nowhere. Be prepared.
I was getting so excited then, I mean, AJ. When you said Blackbird, I was thinking of the Michael Flatley film. And then when you went Apple TV, I was like, oh, God, it's the other one.
So, sorry about that.
When that becomes slightly more readily available, like available to rent in America, which I don't know, I'll have to adjudicate. Get to hearing that in a couple of weeks is my prediction, or my pick. And then Josie says the book series I've been working on is New Neverlands. In the near future, everything's too expensive, so a school's made where young people in their 20s through their 40s are de-aged and can't leave until they make enough money as content creators. I'm more than willing to email drafts for you guys to help me with it. Woof.
Bizardvark?
I'm trying to work. Is that like a weird like influencer version of In Time?
Bizardvark is a Disney Channel show that is where Olivia Rodrigo came from.
Oh, right. And Kevin briefly mentions, well, it disappeared. Hope Inspection
And
gets Oscar.
all for that matter.
Hope Inspection gets Oscar nominations. We'll see
I
what
don't
happens. We'll
for
see what
anything else.
happens this week. Because
I would love to see it. That would be nice. if somebody could fucking distribute it.
Could someone get me women talking in a theater, please, before this month's over? That's all I ask.
Yeah.
Don't ask for much. And apparently, if it's going to become something, All Quiet on the Western Front, please.
I can't take my eyes off my brother's cat's tail going like a shark fin.
Josie
down.
Josie says I am more than willing to email drafts for you guys to help me with it.
Oh, New Netherlands is a boarding school. I mean, if emails can probably easily be forwarded from Owens to AJ.
I could do that. Put more on AJ's plate. Jesus. By the way, we're going to get caught up eventually. Hopefully before February.
Didn't you call the other day and you said, what's going on? And I just said, I'm drowning. That's what's going on.
Yeah, Barry Keegan. We're good.
I would love to like help.
I sensed that there was going to be a bot coming there.
Josie, I can at least get the information to AJ, but it's probably not something that's going to be right away.
Yeah.
There we go.
I didn't want to say but because but would imply like I would say permanently I have too much.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to fuck not. But...
Kevin Davis is back.
Oh, another comment.
Spielberg
will win Best Director. Well, we'll see. That's going to be... I think just for our sanity's sake, we won't talk about the guilds until they're all in. Which means we've got to wait until at least the end of January, because WGA is like 2 weeks behind SAG, PGA, and DGA.
That's the chat, too. No conversations about guilds till we get to the end till we get them all in.
Yeah.
Which is gonna suck because Wednesday's gonna be fucking crazy. I can already tell Wednesday's gonna be crazy.
I mean, tomorrow's gonna be. I mean, okay, not for us directly because we won't be covering it, but I think like 4 of the guilds that sway towards Oscar voting are doing their nominations tomorrow. I think like sound mixing and like costume and things like that. There's like 4 of them all at once. Yeah, I think that's everything.
Yes.
We only went 48 minutes over. It's
Shut it down.
Almost 30, but almost 3 hours, but not quite. Don't get me wrong. We just try to make everything more concise as much as we can. Try not to do like 4-hour shows as much as we can because we understand how much of a hassle that it can be to listen back to a longer show, especially in the short attention span theater world that we live in now.
Yeah, and especially don't think we're going to try and go too long for the post show with the Globes, given that it'll be roughly at least 11 by the time that would start.
But yeah, we've got lots to talk about this week. The Popcast continue. Tomorrow it's Chris's pick of Scott Pilgrim versus the World for Popcast Movie Club. And Tuesday we have the aforementioned recap show of the Golden Globes, our first televised award show of the season is in 2 days. That's crazy to think. Wednesday, of course, AEW, which of course that doesn't affect the network, but it does affect me. It also affects Chris, and also affects Ashley. So, needless to say, Thursday we're going to talk Critics' Choice. So, that'll be fun.
And then I'm guessing next Sunday is probably going to be reactions to the Critics' Choice.
That would be correct. Sunday Critics' Choice reactions, and then it looks like we're headed towards our Oscar predictions for all 23.
That week.
That next week, I believe. It's gotta have to be.
Yeah. And we might try and leave, like, we could maybe do one the sort of week after, you know, when Q&A and Movie Club happens for reacting to the guilds, maybe, or maybe because of the time span, maybe BAFTAs that week, because they'll have come out the week before, and we'll have them for sure.
Yeah, would say lots of stuff's coming. Josie says, bye guys, gonna take a shower. Goodbye for now. Bye, Josie. It's great having everybody tonight. Had a lively chat room like we always do. Tried to cut it at 7. That worked out well. So I think that next Pop the Question, I'm cutting it at 6:30, since we want to try to make the shows as concise as possible. And don't forget, May 1st, get your questions ready. Not typical questions, but get your questions ready for our special 10 years of Popcast Network show. I guess you could basically just call it a hangout, because it's not really going to be a Pop the Question show. It's just going to be a hangout. So hang out with Popcast Network on our 10-year anniversary. Ask questions. We'll reminisce. We'll tell stories. Should be a fun night. Chris, put over the Insta and the podcast.
Instagram, Chris Hunts Toys. Twitch at Chris Hunts Toys. Podcast, Figures and Flippy Shit. We do have a YouTube channel. Next Saturday will finally be the day, I think. It's been a rocky road transitioning from audio to video, mainly because I have a crappy computer that I'm trying to do the video with.
Sure.
So we're just going to go through the cell phone. So hopefully next Saturday we finally get that up and running, which is a shame because I did a really good rant on Vince McMahon today that I'm sad won't air.
Been there. Me and Ashley have both been there. Many times.
Yeah. He's like fucking. I felt like Michael Corleone. Just when they got rid of, they pulled me back in.
Ashley turns on that very familiar music in the old Popcast, and then he would just rant for hours.
I'm trying to work out which music.
Ashley, go back.
One of these things is not like the other things.
Yeah, the Cookie Monster song. Yeah, totally. Speaking of Ashley, you can find him on Twitter at @AshesMyNameUK. We got stuff coming. There's snack stashes that I haven't got a chance to put up yet. I'm just waiting for the floodgates to open, and once they do, we've got a lot to put up.
I'm trying to work. Well, I know I've at least got one thing that's waiting to go up that isn't on the channel. It has yet to go public. They just added a sriracha wrap, which is only cheap on Wednesdays, so I've got to find an excuse to go out on Wednesdays. I'm trying to work out whether it's worth to try and do a double McPlant burger, because it's just going to be like a McPlant burger, but 2 of them.
Thanks. AJ, of course, cannot be found on social media, just like Keith Richards cannot be killed by conventional weapons. And don't worry, in the future, somewhere down the line, he will answer those questions on those videos once we figure out exactly what we've already answered and what we haven't.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
We got TV reviews, we got movie reviews, we got verses, we've got all sorts of various content with the AJ stamp of approval still to come. And I still apologize, because once the floodgates open, Twitter is going to be a nasty, nasty place for at least a day. Me trying to catch up on everything. I got Voices of Liberty video. I've got Sippin' Snacks. I've got Sippin' Snacks of things that don't even exist anymore. So we got lots of cool stuff still to come on the network. And like I said, stay tuned for all the regular segments on the channel. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. The chat, fantastic as always. We appreciate you every single time that you come and join us. Tomorrow night, Popcast Movie Club. Scott Pilgrim versus the World In the meantime, download F About It. Get it higher on the list. Intellectual Property coming out in a couple months. Live 15 in about a week and a half. And until next time, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Hot damn! I felt I haven't